performance I have ever seen in my life.
Hello and welcome to Footy Flashbacks. With rivalry round the focus this week, we're going back to 1980, when suburban tribes battled for footy supremacy. And in the grand final of that year, two neighbouring clubs with one of the fiercest rivalries, Richmond and Collingwood, played off for premiership glory. In the lead-up, a 33-year-old Kevin Bartlett booted 14 goals to guide the Tigers to finals wins over Carlton and Geelong, while Tommy Hafey's Magpies, motivated by a 5-point loss to Carlton in the previous year's grand final, had risen from 5th spot with 3 closely fought finals wins. 113,000 fans packed the MCG to watch the two tribes go to war. To help us relive it all, Neil Kearney caught up with two of the key men from that day.
We're at Grandma Funk's in Swan Street, Richmond, with two blokes who have been known to have a cup of tea, Kevin Bartlett and Tommy Hafey. Before we talk about the 1980 grand final, your friendship would have flourished in the 60s when you would have been coach of Richmond and Kevin obviously a player. Was it ever difficult being coach and player?
It wasn't for me. I suppose we just got on so well, and probably being non-drinkers, and there's not too many in the club for a start. No, I just think that it was...
What about training, Kevin? Because he was fairly legendary for the amount that he put in on the track.
A lot of quality. He told me later on. Yes, it wasn't quantity. He put in quality. I wasn't aware of that at that particular time.
I love training, actually. I never ever missed a training session. I love going to football training. I love kicking the football and running around. Some of the, I suppose we had some long runs and bits and pieces like that. I'd probably tail off a little bit sometimes, Tom.
A long way, actually.
Tail off a little bit, but I really did love going to football.
He was a sprinter.
Before the 1980 grand final, because 79, you'd been captain of Richmond and then you resigned. Obviously, you were falling out of the club. You actually tried to join Tommy at Collingwood. Is that right? Did he approach you to...
No, he didn't, but I know that he would have come because there's a couple of clubs looking at him, and it's already been well documented now where he nearly went to Essendon. Mm-hmm. But I just felt that it wouldn't be the right thing for me to go pirate on a player of such fame from another club, particularly the Tigers. I know that he was probably a little bit upset, and I just felt that not what I would like to be part of.
Did you want to join Tommy?
I did, yes. At that time I did. Ronnie Richards was pretty keen. Ronnie was the chairman of selectors at Collingwood at that stage, and I used to meet Ronnie down at his hotel just down here, virtually in Richmond. Was it Prince Alfred? Was that his hotel? Prince Alfred Hotel, and I used to meet Ronnie down there, and Tommy would come down occasionally. But at that stage I felt that I wasn't wanted at Tigerland, so I thought it was probably best to go where I would enjoy my football, and that would have been playing under Tom. Was
there any point in the 1980 grand final where you thought, gee, I wish he was at Collingwood?
I don't think so during the course of the game, because he'd played there all the year and had kicked so many goals for all the year, and as you remember, I think 21 goals in the final series, which was quite freakish, particularly as a small flanker crumb getter. We were struggling.
How many did he kick in the season?
85.
85 for the season.
I don't know of anybody else who's kicked 85 goals from the half-forward line, because he didn't go on the ball once for the entire year. Yeah, so it was really quite amazing.
Kevin,
and you know how many he gives off to other players as well.
Well, look, there was a moment, 7-minute mark of the final quarter of this game where we see that happening. He handballed.
Well, of course, I would have handballed a lot more, except when I first started, Tommy said to me as a young player, whatever you do, don't get involved with handballing. It's just a fad, and it won't last in the game. And I always did as Tommy told me.
You were 33 in 1980, and the night before the grand final, you went out in the backyard and visualised the game by kicking goals through a fork in the tree.
Yep. I used to be... I didn't understand probably what it was then. I suppose I was just reliving what I used to do as a kid. Go out in the backyard with a football and, you'd play games against yourself. But I like to do that right throughout my career, actually, and just sort of visualise, kicking goals or taking marks or picking up crumbs or sidestepping somebody along the way.
This looks dangerous on the boundary line. A goal coming up. It's a goal.
OK, Tom, you went into that game pretty tough matchups, weren't they? You had very tall... You had Michael Roach at full forward for Richmond, David Clark in the pocket, Jimmy Jess, you had Kevin Bartlett. It was a tough ask, wasn't it?
And 3 big names as far as height goes, and also a little superstar crumb getter. Yeah, it was very tough, and I suppose anybody who's got to match up with 3 tall players of that calibre is going to be always in trouble.
Well, let's see how the game unfolds. The commentators Lou Richards, Peter Landy and Bob, Triple Brownlow medalist, Skilton.
All set for the start of the match. Coach Tommy Hafey already on the phone. Umpire Bill Deller will be in charge of the first bounce. First quarter of the 1980 grand final Richmond. And listen to that roar. Bounce of the ball favours Lee. Neither Moore nor Lee got an effective tap out. Wearmouth tackled very solidly. Over goes Wiley. And Robert Wiley will come out of it with the first free kick, it would appear, for Richmond. Now it's not going his way. It's going to Jeff Rains, the first free kick. And a long kick by Rains down towards centre half forward. Peter Moore, direct grab. Moore at centre half back. Ireland taking the hand pass well. Collingwood go into attack, but only just up over the centre line. And there's Craig Stewart starting off in fine fashion again. Dacos, short pass towards right half forward, looking for Young in front of Burke. And Burke lining up on the forward line too. I thought he may have gone back to defence, but he has lined up on the forward line. On the back line, there he is. Kick by Young. Off target, one behind. First score of the match. Coming up at the 1 minute mark of the quarter. As we wait the kick out now by Michael Malthouse. Comes towards the MCG members' side. Kick dropping a little bit short. Emmett Dunham kicking in front and takes a good mark. And Kink would be within kicking distance too for him. If he gets onto this, he can kick at the proverbial country mile. He would be 55 to 60 metres out at least, but I would not at all be surprised if this guy registered first goal for Collingwood. Rene Kink, left half forward flank, in he comes. Off target, drifting well away over the boundary line on the full penalty free kick to Richmond.
And the penalty free kick will go down there to Michael Malthouse. Now it's back to Strawn now. Collingwood 1 point to Richmond yet to score. We've been playing about a minute and a half of this first quarter of the 1980 Grand Final, brought to you live through Channel 7. Off the top of the pack, the umpires found a free kick. It'll go to Dunn of Richmond. Dunn to take that free kick out there at half back. Kicks the ball across to centre field. Wood at the back, got the sit over Carlson. A beautiful mark. Quickly plays on and Richmond go into attack up towards Roach and McCormick, having a battle, both punching it away. And the umpires found a free kick. It'll go to Roach against McCormick for interference. He said he hit him in the face. Well, might have got him by the wrist there too, but there it is in replay. Let's see what happens. Oh, well,
He did have hold of the arm.
I think he did. You may be right, Bobby. So Roach has got a chance to put the Tigers' first goal on the board for this 1980 Grand Final. And we're at the 2.5 minute mark. He's only about 40 metres out from goal, if that, on a slight angle. Not a bad sort of a kick, but it veers off at the last moment and through for 1 point. So we're off to a great start. 1 point apiece, and we're at the 2.5 or approaching the 3 minute mark of this first quarter.
Wait for the ruck duels now. It's going to be Peter Moore and Lee. A lot will depend on the outcome of that, and it's a wrestling match. No free kick applied by the umpire. Well, Magro goes over, got tripped up, and he'll get the free kick. Stan Magro, left half back. Long kick up over the centre, towards centre half forward. Stewart knocks the ball clear. No forward there to take it. Brian Wood backing up well. Francis Burke again, this time in front of his opponent. Burke tries a short pass, looking for Rollings. Barry Rollings in front of Byrne. He's got the job of minding him. Over the head of Bartlett. But Bartlett's there. Picked up down there and turned for Collingwood and driven further forward by Olsen. Heavy clash. Free kick going which way?
Carlson, Peter.
Lee Carlson, Collingwood winger, with the free kick and the 15-metre penalty. Carlson had his colours lowered by Turner last week, but a very good player on his day. Carlson, Emmett Dunn from behind, couldn't take that ground. Here's a chance for Lowe now, streaming into goals. Ian Lowe fires, wait for the goal umpire, one behind.
That's Cloak and Moore going for the knockout. Comes down there towards Olsen. He can't pick it up. There's a bit of a stack up here, and the umpire said play on. As Little Shaw picks it up down there in the back pocket position to drive it away from the danger zone. Or pushed away by Wood out towards Jess. Jess getting away from his opponent. Shoots the ball down there looking for Roach again. At the back as Moore goes for the big punch. Out there towards Little Shaw again. Cloak's right on his tail, but he can't save it in time. And the ball is out of bounds. 27 minutes gone of this first quarter. Richmond 4-5-29. The Collingwood 2-6-18 as we wait now for the ball to come back into play. Well, Cloak finally forced that down to Jess. He's doing a great job on Billy Pickens. We see Kane send the ball back looking for Roach again. He's got it.
What a great mark.
Well, I think they'll have to do something about that. He's certainly got the drop on McKenzie. He's going for goal number 2 now. McCormick, I should say. Well, he's only on the edge of the... What's this knockout that time by Moore? Well, actually,
folk actually bringing the ball down. And as you said, Lou, Jimmy Jess is doing a great job against Picken so far. Obviously, the tactics for Jess are to run around as we watch the greater height of Michael Roach come right over the top. Right now, he's lining them up.
And has put it through for another one to Richmond, and they take their total to 5-5-35, leading Collingwood 2-6-18. It's going to be Peter Moore on left of screen, Mark Lee on right of screen to contest the first bounce of the second quarter of the 1980 grand final as umpire Robinson bounces the ball. Magnificent bounce too, but it does favour Lee. Moore gets a slight advantage. Collingwood through Stewart, hand pass, go forward. A chance for Craig Davis. The ball doesn't bounce too well for him. Well played, Michael Malthouse. He's been a very good Richmond defender so far, and so is this guy, Jimmy Jess. Not that he's playing in defence at the moment, but that kick puts Richmond up towards their attacking zone. Bartlett's down there, streams past the ball actually. McCormack, well shepherded by Ireland, tries a short pass up towards the flank it is, and there's Jess again, shaping up as the best man on the ground. Jimmy Jess, who had some off games during the year, but then again, didn't everybody? He's certainly producing his best today, and he likes to kick the ball a long way. That's no exception. Roach behind, has the grab! No mark played by the umpire. Very strange. Roach certainly looking for it, and the Richmond crowd were too. But umpire Bill Daniel says no, sir, and that will necessitate a ball up in the goal square. You make up your own minds. Very, very close. He did seem to have two grabs on that for mine. Back live, another ball up will take place, or will it be a free kick to Collingwood? It's going to be a free kick down there in the back pocket against the goals to be taken by Collingwood's vice-captain, that's Kevin Morris, and Morris will come out the grandstand side. Looking for Carlson, Wood's too tall. Ryan Wood, a very experienced campaigner for Richmond, much too tall for Lee Carlson on that occasion. And Wood almost within kicking distance.
This bloke's played a fair game too in the first quarter, Peter.
I like Jess though, Lou.
Oh, Jess has a great game. I'm just saying he's been a very handy player, Wood too, number 16.
Yes, he's on top of Carlson at the moment. I'd agree with you there. Can't kick it as far as Jimmy Jess. Into the goal square. Cloak! What a mark! Oh, that would be close to mark of the day. We were questioning his match fitness before the game got underway. I think he's answered the questions. Well, let's see if he can make amends here. He's missed two from the same distance out at the other end of the first quarter. David Cloak, 12 metres out from goal. Let's see how that one is. That's 4 points. 1 goal to Richmond, and that's their 7th. The Tigers now, 7 goals, 5. That's a total of 47 points. Collingwood 2-6-18 as we watch the mark on replay. Cloak from behind.
I think very little needs to be said about that mark, Peter. It was all David Cloak.
Centre bounce, Lee against Moore again. That time it's Lee with a hefty one and Jess again. The Tigers full of power. The ball knocked away by Waitman. Rollings couldn't pick it up. It's finally picked up by Collingwood's Olsen. Back over the centre position. The pack set themselves. Punched away by Strawn. And again by Jess. By God, they're playing with Coppins as Big Lee takes the ball away. Goes for a pass. Looking out there for Bartlett. He's a mile away from Morris. He grabs it on the boundary line. Has a snap for goal. Right across the face. A chance now for Cloak. But I think it's over the line. Yes, it's over the line, and a penalty free kick will go down there to Andrew Ireland. We're at the 6-minute mark, and the Tigers doing it well. 8 goals, 5-53. The Collingwood 2 goals, 6-18.
And we wait the penalty free kick for the Magpies to be taken by Andrew Ireland. No, he can't do that. He has to kick over the mark, which will be out towards the MCG members stand. And Collingwood looking a very ragged combination. I felt last week against Geelong that they tended to stop in the last quarter, and certainly carried on that way today. Maybe the 3 hard matches has taken its toll. Mark Lee from behind, big punch down. Magro got caught once, twice, holding the ball, or is it too high? Too high. Stan Magro and taking the free kick towards centre wing. Jess in the middle of the pack, grab behind to Picken. Good mark.
I think that's his first mark for the day, Peter.
And his first touch, I think
about his first kick or second kick.
That's right. Predictably from Picken, dropping short. Getting out is Davis. At least he's looked like getting the ball down there. He's the only Collingwood forward worth his salt at the moment. There's not too many of them. Not clear. Welsh is there for Richmond. Over the boundary line it goes, and that throw-in will take place in the Tigers' forward pocket, right next to the behind post. See Stewart now on Jess, so that's one move made. Dunn in front. David Young. Touch through, I think, for one behind. Yes, it is. Collingwood badly needing a goal. And can't score them. Francis Burke will kick out from fullback. A better play you wouldn't find for going all day. How long will he go? I think he'll be back next year. I guess all Richmond supporters will be hoping that. Francis Burke wide towards the flank. Barham. It's about his first touch for the day too. Maybe his second. Barham tries a pass. Not too well directed towards Picken. Shaw eventually picks it up. Is he off target? Wait for the goal umpire. Now it's a goal. Badly needed one too for the Magpies. Emmett Dunn is the man on screen.
I think Stewart went down there for a while and he came back, Bob. They must have realised that Young might be the man to do the job.
Dunn was looking for Lee, but Peter Welsh at the back of the pack was backing up well. Welsh fires a short pass, looking for the man of the match, Jimmy Jess, but it just beats Robert Wiley over the boundary line. And what's happened down here? Jess having a slight altercation with David Young. And umpire Bill Dalla coming in to say, let's have wiser heads prevailing, fellas. Lee and Moore. Ray Shaw. Short out of the pack. Malthouse. Malthouse, he's played very well today, so too is the whole Richmond side. But Malthouse and Jess, in my opinion, have certainly shone out with Mark Lee, who got a nudge out there and will get a free kick. And certainly taking the points off Peter Moore. That was the most vital duel of the whole match. Good long kick. Bartlett on his own. Oh, and the 15-metre penalty. Magro jumping right into him. And umpire Bill Dalla right on the spot. Good umpiring. Foolish tactics by Magro.
Nothing about that, Peter. A bad mistake by Magro that time.
Also with the second goal at Magro's cost Collingwood, because Waitman got one before when Magro decided to rough up Jimmy Jess. And then Waitman broke away while Jess was worrying about the fight, while his opponent was. That's a goal. Bartlett has now kicked his second goal and Richmond go further ahead. Richmond 9 goals, 5, 59, Collingwood 3-7, 25.
Magnificent crowd here today, round about the 115,000 mark, without any fear of contradiction. Collingwood being a little bit disappointing at the moment. But as we've always said, it's a long way to go. It's a funny game, football. The ball comes down to Wood. He's got Millie in the back, but the umpire said play on. Carlson trying to get it out. And the umpire says still play on. No, he's going to ball it up out on Collingwood's half-forward line, about 65 metres out from their goal. And goals have been scarce for the Magpies so far in this grand final. There's Lee getting another knockout. Rain's trying to get through the pack. He's backed up well. Gets a bad hand pass out. Moore run to his own man, then crashed into Richmond and dropping the ball. Moore didn't hesitate. That's the big thing about Moore. If a free kick goes against him, well, he doesn't hesitate. He gets on with the game.
No, he really does. And as Jeff Rains got up there after copping a fairly heavy one.
Ball back across over towards that half-forward line. McCormick in front, couldn't hold the mark. Wilno spins out of the pack pretty well. Gets a hurried kick back there towards Dacos. Dacos, oh, beautiful block. He's in trouble there. He goes for a hand pass. Olsen spins away nicely. Down he goes. It's a bad one. And this gives Smith the lead and he wants out. It goes to Bartlett. He's got it. And have a look at the latitude that Morris is giving him. Fair dinkum. He's giving him 14-yard start.
At least.
Unbelievable.
It was playing him from in front, Lou, and you must have Bartlett in your sights at all times.
You've got to stand right next to him. Really get into his boots. And a chance for Bartlett's third goal from about 40 metres out. The shot. Not a bad thing on the kick for the little champ either. A goal.
16 and a half minutes have gone in the grand final. 65 plays 26. Richmond stream forward again. Barry Rawlings left half forward flank has a shot at goal but has put it through for only one behind. And the Tigers go forward by that margin again. Rawlings off target from 35 metres out. 66 plays 26, a difference of 40 points. Peter McCormick. That's a beautiful kick by the Collingwood fullback, almost to the centre circle. Good 70 metres that one. Young to Carlson. Carlson at half-back. Torpedo punt to half-forward. Knocked away by Emmett Dunn. Good defence by the Tigers. Wilno. Stewart's in there for Collingwood. Gives it to Olsen. Wilno again. Just gets clear of Mervyn Kane. Collingwood doing it the hard way. On the shoulder, says the umpire. And it will be a free kick to Collingwood to be taken by Billy Picken, is it? Yes. Picken at left half forward. Let's watch the free and replay. Woolno's hand pass. Picken a little bit too low down. Malthouse tackling high. Picken's free kick. He hasn't kicked a goal. Only 3 Collingwood players have. Shaw, Davis and Wearmouth at the 17-minute mark of the second quarter. Picken a defender. So shooting for goal wouldn't be something that he does every day. Lead being made by Ian Lowe, but ignored. Picken will go for the long kick, or as long as he can kick it. It does drop short, maybe predictably. Wait for the goal umpire's decision, and it is one behind. Well, that was on the cards. A shocking kick by Picken. It does not look as though it will be Collingwood's day. 66 to 27, so 39 points the difference. Francis Burke to come around the members' stand side. Lee in front of Byrne. Knock on by Carlson. Picked up well down there for the Magpies. Hit the post. Good shot by Davis. Just didn't quite make it. He's already kicked 1 goal. Would have been his second. So that's 3 posters to Collingwood, 2 to Shaw and 1 to Davis.
Ball back into play again. Smith goes for the tap down to Waitman. Another one over to Raines, who's got a nasty cut over his left or right high, I should say. And the mark taken here now by Wiley. And Wiley's got the mark at half forward. Ready to drive Richmond back into attack. There's Roach flying. Back it goes to Ireland, trying to claim the mark. Had no hope of getting that. I think he might have been doing a bit of acting there, because he knew that he couldn't get out of the pack, so he tried to claim the mark. It's a ball up about 30 metres out from the Richmond goal. Good knockout by Moore over to Morris. Morris has been shifted off, but they've got Magro on him now as the ball is kicked back by Byrne towards the centre wing position. Davis at the back, couldn't hold the mark. At least he got his hands to it. Then we see Carlson running. We've got one in the back. The umpire said it'll be a ball up on the centre wing position. We're at the 30-minute mark of this second quarter, the 1980 Grand Final, coming to you live through the 7 network, and we certainly hope that you're enjoying it wherever you're listening out throughout Australia. 11-11-77 Richmond to Collingwood 3-10-28. Ball comes out now to Shaw. He goes down out to Carlson. A hand pass back here to Davis. A chance for Collingwood to go into attack. He decides to go for a bit of a run. A hand pass over to Billy Picken. He's going to straighten up and fire, and he's put it through for a goal. And a badly needed one by the Magpies. So it's Richmond 11 goals, 11-77 to Collingwood at the moment. 4 goals, 10-34, and we're at the 30.5-minute mark of this second quarter.
Watching on the video replay, we see as Billy Picken puts the ball through there, and Craig Davis was again in the thick of things, and he's probably one of the few Collingwood forward players to be doing well, and that's all the more reason why I think up forward they're getting nothing in the air, that they really have to try and get a bit of mobility around their forward line and make that movement. The other end, Ireland's it's asking too much of Ireland, I think, to be against Cloak, so they've got nothing to lose at all by going for speed on the forward line.
Approaching the 32-minute mark of this second quarter, and we see Collingwood trailing by 43 points at the moment. Knocked out by Moore, then again by Lee, punched away by Olsen, one of Collingwood's good players. Over to Dacos, back to Woolnow, and the Magpies go back into attack. But there's Mount on the way. He's played a very good game indeed for Richmond. Kicks the ball back to centre field towards Raines. Raines couldn't hold that one down. It comes to Morris, but finally picked up by Shaw. He slips. It's a bad kick, but there's the siren for the end of the quarter. And at half-time, we see Richmond in a very good position for this 1980 Grand Final. 11 goals, 11-77 to Collingwood, 4 goals, 10-34.
So at half-time, it was Richmond leading Collingwood by 33 points. It wasn't looking too pretty for the Magpies. Tommy Hafey and Kevin Bartlett are still sipping away on their tea. We go back to Grandma Funk's Cafe to find out what the talk was at the main break.
Kevin, at half-time, the main interest seems to be whether Stan Magro can knock your block off.
He's a very good player, Stan, and a very strong player. Pretty tough to play in the back line on that particular day as far as the Collingwood defender was concerned, because we had so much of the ball. Mark Lee was just dominating the first half in the ruck, and you had Dale Waitman, you had Robert Wiley, just fantastic around the packs, and the ball was being pumped in.
Tommy, at the 23-minute mark of the second quarter, he's already kicked 4 goals. You've moved Kevin Morris off Kevin and you've put Stan Magro on him. Would you have said to Stan, make him earn his kicks?
Oh, I would say that. without saying that you've got to knock him over or anything like that, but I think the player knows what he's got to do. He's got to be very tight and pretty tough, and maybe show a lot of aggression. But it's pretty tough when the side is dominating, and also the fellow who you're playing on has got so much pace.
Well, you're 43 points down at half time. What do you say to your players?
Well, you've got to say you just don't give up. We've seen teams come from further down than 43 points, and to say to the players, they did it in the first half, we can do it in the second half. You just forget the scoreboard, but if we can chip away, and come in three-quarter time, only being, say, 4 down, you're in with a chance, and also you're putting a bit of doubt in the opposition's mind. And I guess that's the thing that most coaches would talk about.
Well, while you two were in the rooms at half time, the sprint's on out on the field, and that had a predictable result for the second year in a row, won by Jeff Ablett. You've come back out on the ground, Kevin. Richmond would have had the champagne on ice by this stage, so we'll go back to the second half of the 1980 Grand Final.
14 and a half minutes gone in the third quarter. Peter Moore, last year's Brownlow medalist, to contest once again with Mark Lee, who's taken the points from him well and truly in this match to date. Emmett Dunn, even luck's a fortune for Richmond today. Craig Stewart taking the mark at centre half back.
Well, that's when you're hot. When you're hot, aren't you, Pete? No doubt about it.
Everything comes off. This is Stan Magro, who incurred the wrath of Richmond supporters in the second term. Peter Moore and Lee clashing again. No mark to either player. Peter Welsh picking the ball up well on centre wing, and he has played well today, Welsh. Short pass, Mervyn Kane, right on the VFL emblem. Kane's hand pass, looking for Rains. Tony Shaw was there, intercepting well. Little Magpie gets it back to Young. He got one for his corner, and he'll get a free kick for that. Short pass from David Young. Ray Shaw, captain the vice-captain, Kevin Morris taking it at half forward. Lee Carlson in trouble and got out of it well. Carlson now streaming forward, and Magpie fans find voice. They haven't had too much to cheer about. This is like a Gabovich run, this one, but he's missed it. One behind, just when they needed a goal.
Now, Collingwood at least then, Peter, right from the moment Young kicked the ball, Peter Moore, Ray Shaw and others were at least running, and we spoke at half-time about the fact that Collingwood were not moving. They're at least making some sort of endeavour right now to run.
Francis Burke at the 16-minute mark of the third quarter, putting ball back into play. Brian Wood, good grab. Wood at left half-back, and he has played a good game today, Brian Wood. Seldom puts in a bad performance. Looking for Cloak. Cloak takes the mark. Play on, says umpire Bill Della. Cloak does just that. The big fella gets into top gear and away he goes. A long shot at goal from the big Richmond forward. That looks a pretty good sort of a kick to me. Another one to the Tigers, and they go further ahead. 4 goals to David Cloak. It's the final quarter of the 1980 VFL Grand Final. Richmond leading 107-48 as Mark Lee once again comes in to contest with Peter Moore. Lee having the best of Moore so far today. Moore gets that one down to Dacos, the Collingwood centre man, looking for a hand pass to Woolnough, who's ahead of Welsh. Woolnough and Welsh battling it out near the boundary line. Welsh winning out to Malthouse, who's been one of Richmond's best 3 players. Michael Malthouse, short pass to Jess, not a good one. Rollings is there, loses sight of the ball actually. This allows Young to pick it up. Tony Shaw sees it not bouncing too kindly for him. Kevin Morris is there, putting his head down was Young, tries to go through. Not really successful, and umpire Della has decided to ball it up at the point of the centre square. Approximate crowd today, 115,000. Moore on his own. No rover there though. Dacos does the roving and gets it to Byrne. Ray Byrne for Collingwood, streaming forward to the centre half forward line for the Magpies. Stewart flies, couldn't take the mark. Wood to Terry Smith. Long kick by Smith down towards the half forward line. Bartlett and Moore. Out it comes towards McCormack from Young. McCormack looking for a hand pass. It goes to Waitman. Back and turn the chest. Running into an open goal. Another one to the Tigers. It's going to be Cloak contesting with Stewart. Knocked down to Jess. Going through solidly is Wood. Gets the hand pass out. Smith is there. Well done, Terry Smith, but he almost did, or tried to do too much with the ball. Ireland's short kick, marked by Ronnie Weirmouth just on centre wing. Weirmouth playing on, looking for the long hand pass. Tony Shaw's there. Welsh tackling well. Kink going through. Welsh is still there with him. King had to get rid of the ball in a hurry. Kane over to Lee. Great job from the big ruckman today. Close to best on the ground. Rains Ranks is at right half forward now. Decides to go back and take his kick because Byrne was standing on the mark. He couldn't get away. Jeff Rains kicks the ball long as usual. Cloak the high flyer! Cloak has got 6 goals. Or has he got 5? He's got 5 goals and a chance to make it 6.
Big chance to make it 6, I think, Peter.
Even David Cloak couldn't miss it from there. He missed a couple of early ones, didn't he, Bob, from just on the 10-metre square. And that's the shot as David Cloak comes in for it. 10 metres out, almost into our camera lens. All clear, says the goal umpire, and Richmond go further ahead. 6 goals to David Cloak. And Kevin Bartlett has kicked 5. What a magnificent effort from those two Richmond forwards. 20-20 to Richmond, and Collingwood 6 goals, 21. Let's watch that mark again of David Cloak.
Cloak and Roach both there. Cloak really getting a higher leap.
It's the 17-minute mark of the final quarter, 140 to 57. Richmond well in command of proceedings here, and they'll be presented with the Premiership Cup very, very shortly. Rawlings tries to knock it on, not successful. Kevin Morris for Collingwood picks up the rebound. Half forward for the Magpies it comes. Picken tries to mark, not successful there. Shaw out towards Wearmouth. In comes Picken again. Short kick looking for Olsen. Monteith was there and has given away a free kick. Russell Olsen, 35 metres out, has a chance to register a Collingwood score, although Olsen has missed a couple from a similar distance out. Hasn't scored a goal. I don't know about that kick either. We'll wait for the goal umpire. It might be there. It is. So Olsen bringing up his first goal, a belated one for the Magpies, to take their total to 7 goals, 21, 63 points. Richmond 20-20, 140 points.
Well, there's 77 points down at the moment, and we're at the 18-minute mark, and I just can't see Collingwood stopping Richmond.
The video replay shows Tony Shaw getting that ball out with a quick hand pass. Picken then coming across. Ronnie Wearmouth giving him a good piece of shepherding. Picken screwing the ball back until now we find both Monteith and Olsen, and a little bit technical.
18 minutes gone in the final term. Rains to Wiley. As the Tigers try and get it out of the centre. Back to Terry Smith it comes from Rains. A long kick by Smith up towards Clark again. Couldn't take it. Roach is there. Gives it to Bartlett. Bartlett 10 metres out running in for another one to Richmond. And that is Bartlett's 6th goal. Can Bartlett level the record of goals in a grand final? Nearly 24 minutes gone, so that means we're a minute away from the time on period. So probably about 5 or 6 minutes left for play at the moment. Burton's time comes towards the member stand side looking for Brian Wood, and he takes the mark in front of his opposite number 16 and Ian Lowe. Short pass by Wood looking for Wiley. And there's another good player. Would be in line for the Norm Smith medal. He looks happy.
Must be a Collingwood supporter.
Rains streaming forward again. Kick smothered on that occasion though, but Lee's backing up, so it doesn't matter. Gives it back to Rains again. Knock on to Malthouse. Malthouse at half forward, gets around more. Gets ridden into the ground almost. Rains comes in again, maybe a little bit too late as Welsh is there. Peter Welsh can't pick it up though. And he and Magro decide not to go on with anything, and it will be balled up. They could bounce off each other, Welsh and Magro. Both bit like tanks. Knocked down by Lee, taken by Peter Moore, who's had one of the quietest days in memory for him. Low in front of Wood. And that's Kevin Morris. Vice captain to captain, Collingwood skipper Ray Shaw. He's on centre wing. Short passes downfield and Picken takes the mark. He's been the only effective forward they've really had all day, and he wasn't playing there all day. Starting at centre half back, of course. Oh, up to daisy. Francis Burke got offloaded there. Didn't matter. Streaming forward, though, is Davis. He has a shot at goal and has put it through for a goal to Collingwood. 2 goals to Craig Davis, adding a little bit of respectability to the Collingwood total, which now moves along to 8 goals. 8 goals, 23. As we watch it in replay, Davis roving that well and putting it through for a goal.
Well, Davis was surprising to us that he was taken off the ground in that third term, Peter. But whilst that was going on, Darryl Freem came on the ground in the interchange, Waitman coming on.
146 plays 77, and we are entering the time on period. In fact, we're 26 minutes into the last quarter of the 1980 Grand Final.
Knocked out by Lee, grabbed by Moore, a long hand pass over there towards Shaw. Shaw's grabbed, gets a hurried kick down there towards that centre half forward, just over the centre half forward position, but a good mark there to Smith. He's done a great job, this fella. Probably had the least number of kicks for the Richmond team, but he certainly stuck close to Kink, one of the Collingwood trumps, and kept him out of business all day. There's Freen coming on the ground. They're giving him all a run now. It is to Bartlett. Bartlett and Magro having a battle there, but it's Bartlett getting around Magro. Look at the little chant go. Coming around the boundary line, going for goal number 7. What's the result? It is. He's up with the record. Guarantee the Collingwood players will be pleased when this game's over. Lee and Moore again. Shaw trying to break through the pack. He goes down. Umpire still calls play on, and he's going to ball it up out there on Collingwood's half-forward line. This time it's only about 45 metres out from their goal. 32 minutes gone, and this grand final just about over, and the Tigers are premiers for 1980. As we see Tony Shaw hook the ball back there towards the forward pocket. Coming across as Smith dropped the mark, but interference against Ray Shaw, and it'll be Smith to take the free kick down there in the back pocket. Well, the Tiger fans are starting to chant now. I think they could have started chanting at half-time, because Collingwood haven't been in the race. Well, they haven't been in the race since the first quarter, as the ball's finally forced out of bounds on Collingwood's half-forward line. 33 minutes gone, and the Tigers 159 points to Collingwood 77, and the Tigers are premiers, no doubt, for 1980.
Siren just about due to go. Peter Moore with a big punch-out, picked up by Dacos now on the half-forward flank. Freem chasing, but he'll have a shot for goal. In towards the square it goes. I don't think that was touched. In fact, it has gone through for 1 point. So 33 and three-quarter minutes. 33 and three-quarter minutes gone in the final quarter. Malthouse now from full-back. Upfield, taken by Mervyn Kane. Long kick by Kane. There's the siren. Richmond have won their first premiership since 1974. Kevin Bartlett equalling the record of number of goals kicked in a grand final, and Tony Jewell, the Richmond coach, being congratulated by his team. Are the Richmond players happy?
Kevin, that was the biggest, at that time, the biggest winning margin in football.
Well, it was at that stage. It was over 80 points, so it was just absolutely fantastic. And of course, by the time we got to three-quarter time, we had the game won. At half-time, we weren't quite certain, because, you know, Tommy coach sides have always had a great ability to come back, and we had enormous respect for Tom and also enormous respect for Collingwood through that final series. But at three-quarter time, obviously the gap was far too big, and we were able to motor home.
Kevin, after that game, what did you say to Tommy?
Well, I sought out Tommy and his brother Peter, because, you know, all the other premierships we'd won together and celebrated together, and Pete was there as the runner as well, and Tom was the coach, and it was a bit of an eerie feeling for me.
This was on the ground? Or?
A bit of an eerie feeling, so...
You walked over to
Went over and saw Tom and Pete, and, you know, just said I was just sorry and disappointed that it sort of all ended like this, you know, because it would have been nice to sort of, you know, win the premierships together, because we had a great association. But it wasn't to be, because Tom was coaching the opposition. Tony Jewell did a fantastic job coaching the Tigers that year. Just a fantastic job to get, you know, the players playing so well and playing great football.
And a special pat on the back to little Kevin Bartlett.
How do you get over a defeat like that, Tommy?
Well, I suppose not being the favourites at the time, and I suppose when you look at it realistically, a lot of clubs would have liked to have been where we were. Mm-hmm. So all you can say, well, that's football, that's sport, that's life. Just got to get on with it. You can't let it take over to that extent. When you get beaten when you're the favourites, it's tougher, and it's tougher for the coach than the players. The players who forget who they played 1 hour after they come off the ground, incidentally, but the coach will remember it forever and ever and ever in a day. The funny thing in that particular case, I just worked it out that they won by 81 points. Kevin kicked 7 goals. If they had to kick 7 goals for us, we win by 3 points. You realise that? Take 7 off them and 7 for us.
Play it again,
yeah. But, so I just put it down as a moral victory, because, as I said, he could have been at with the Magpies.
Yeah, we had lunch the day before the grand final, and is that the day you ran over my foot?
That was another day. I did that often.
He was very quick at taking off.
Was he?
Just hop out of the car before you could ever shut the door.
I go. Yeah.
What did you talk about the day before the grand final?
Certainly didn't talk about the grand final.
Nah.
We used to talk about, we went to lunch 3 times a week for 10 years, Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays.
And I paid.
And
Luckily, we're paying today.
but we used to just talk about, you know, things that was happening probably in the football world or in the boxing world or the racing world, just the sporting world. We
As friends do.
very rarely talked about the game.
Coaches usually need to stay aloof from their players, but you never did.
No, I
You'd
didn't.
ring them all on the night before the grand final or a game even, wouldn't you?
And had them over at our place. But I can remember when I left Shepparton, my old president, Jack Edwards, who would buy and outsell every AFL administrator I've ever met in my life, said to me, Tommy, a word of advice. No, a word of warning. He said, you spend too much time with the players and not enough with the administrators and the committee. You've got to remember, they put you in the job, they keep you in the job. I said, Jack, if I got to suck up the people to keep my job, I'd rather not have my job. I'm thinking if you're going to do well, that's your job. And I just felt that was the best way for me. But, you know, that's life. He's right. I'm wrong. Because there's so much sucking up and so much lobbying, as you would know, in life. Yeah, so it's probably one of my weaknesses, but
It was a great strength.
Some would say it was a strength, Tommy, and 40 years on and you're still great friends with your players, and Kevin's your best friend. Thanks, both of you, for remembering the 1980 grand final.
Thanks, Neil.
Are there any more famous tea drinkers in the game? No doubt they are two of the all-time greats at Richmond. Kevin Bartlett winning his 5th premiership at Tigerland, his first without Tom Hafey, who of course coached the Tigers to 4 flags before moving to Collingwood. It was a case of so near and yet so far for Hafey at the Magpies. 5 grand finals whilst at the helm at Victoria Park, but no premiership cups in the cabinet. The 1980 grand final still a big favourite though for Tiger fans, and if you'd like to get a copy of your favourite game for your own library, then go to sportsdelivered.com for more information and order your own DVD online. Well, we hope you enjoyed today's game. 28 years ago now when Richmond won their last flag. We'll see you again when we turn back the clock for another Footy Flashback.
St Kilda, their first ever premiership.